Rawhead Rising. The stone had no business being there. Beneath the thick clay of the northern pasture, down where even tree roots gave up, the slab waited. Cold, ancient, unmarked by time. For centuries, the land grew quiet around it. No crops ever sprouted there. No animals grazed. Locals called it dead ground and left it alone, until Gareth Pike ignored every warning. The farmer was clearing the edge of his property for expansion, a new greenhouse, a simple job. But when the backhoe clanged against rock and refused to dig deeper, he climbed down to investigate. What he found wasn't natural. The slab was flat, almost perfectly smooth, not stone from the region, too dark, too polished. In places, faint symbols had been chiseled in deep arcs, their lines crude and crooked, like they'd been carved in panic. And when Gareth ran his fingers along them, a tremor passed through the earth so subtly, he thought it was just his imagination. He didn't tell anyone, just had the slab lifted and dragged out with chains. The next morning, the soil around the site smelled like copper. By the second day, the sheep were screaming at night. Not bleating, not panicked, screaming. One was found in the woods with its ribs peeled open and skull crushed inward. Another was missing entirely. No tracks, no blood trail, just a stretch of flattened grass where something heavy had moved on two legs. The third day, Callum Pike disappeared. 15 years old, lean, smart, always helping his dad. He left around dusk with a flashlight and a length of wire to patch a loose fence. They found him near the old tree line. His legs had been snapped backward at the knees, his body bent like a broken puppet, chest torn wide open, ribs hanging like splintered wood. The eyes were gone, the jaw missing. Not torn off, removed, cleanly, as if taken. The trees around him bore deep gouges, huge ones, a dozen feet up, like something had used the bark to steady itself while feeding. Blood had soaked into the roots, blackening them. And on the largest tree, a symbol had been carved with something jagged and strong. A face, no eyes, no lips, just muscle and grinning bone. No one spoke it aloud, not yet. But whispers returned. Old names, pagan names, Rawhead Rex. That night, the fog rolled in. Thick, wet, unnatural. Curling low across the fields, moving like something alive. The animals cried all through the night. Gareth Pike sat on his porch with a shotgun that felt useless in his hands. He watched the mist drift across the paddocks, watched something tall move inside it. Something that scraped the earth with clawed feet. Something breathing too loudly, like air forced through rusted pipes. Then came the teacher. Elaine Henley, mid-40s, lived alone near the schoolhouse. She never showed up for work. When they went to her house, her car was still in the driveway, the front door wide open. Inside, the walls were soaked, not spattered. Soaked. From floor to ceiling. No body. Just a drag mark across the carpet and teeth embedded in the plaster. By now, the town knew. They didn't say the name out loud, but it was there, in every pale face, in every closed curtain, and every shotgun laid across a lap. And then he was seen. 9 feet tall, skin stretched tight over muscle that bulged and twisted with every breath. No hair, no lips. His face was a screaming red mask of flesh and bone. Blood hung from his fingers in long, steaming strands. He moved with purpose, too fast to be lumbering, too heavy to be natural. His eyes burned, not glowing. Burning, like embers. He didn't just kill, he destroyed. He split a man in half in the town square, yanked a woman through her second-story window without touching the walls. He overturned a police cruiser with one hand and left scorch marks on the pavement with his footprints. And always, he grinned. Some said they heard voices in their heads. Not his voice. Voices from long ago. Screams, prayers, the sound of drums in the woods, the chants of old worshippers, blood chants. The local priest, Father Wilcox, locked himself in the church and refused to come out. Only after the library caught fire and 3 more died did he speak. He knew what it was. His great-grandfather's journals spoke of it. Rawhead Rex, a god of teeth and blood, worshipped before the Romans came, fed with the hearts of children, bound in stone by monks who gave their lives to trap him, buried beneath holy ground, forgotten until now. The priest gathered the survivors, fled to the ruins of St. Mary's, once a church, now little more than scorched brick and memory. There, they made a circle. Symbols, candles, blood. Not holy prayers. Old ones, forbidden ones. Words meant to bind, not bless. They barely had time. Rawhead came with the wind, screaming like a hurricane, tearing the roof from the chapel. He waded through fire and bullets, through sharpened stakes and shouts. He struck the ground with his fists and split it open. He dragged a man into the air and tore him into 4 pieces before his feet hit the earth again. The priest didn't flinch. He poured the blood onto the seal fragment and spat the last words through broken teeth. Rawhead roared. It wasn't fury, it was anguish. The earth split, and for a heartbeat the sky darkened. Rawhead's body buckled, twisted, folded inward. He howled, not like a monster, but like something betrayed, something that remembered being worshipped. And then, he was gone. The seal closed, smoking. The wind died, and the people just stared. Weeks passed. The field was left untouched. The slab was never found again. The church remains empty. But somewhere, in a school just outside the valley, a boy is drawing. His teacher says he doesn't speak much anymore, just stares at the trees outside the window and sketches things that shouldn't exist. Figures with no skin, eyes that glow, and a name he writes over and over again in the margins. Rawhead. Because monsters don't sleep. They wait. And when the earth is soft with blood again, he'll rise. Thanks for watching another chilling tale here on Cryptid Encounter Stories. If you enjoyed the story, like, subscribe, and drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and theories. And if you're hungry for more supernatural thriller, be sure to grab a copy of Fall of the Order, available now in ebook, audiobook, and paperback. Until next time, stay safe and stay in the light.